Finance me Kevin Smith, Silent Bob, and all those terrible Jay and Silent Bob type pictures, man. You're listening to Drop the Mic, the only podcast that I listen to that I'm not a part of. Every podcast I listen to, I usually talk on it, but not fucking Drop the Mic. That's where I'm like, let me hear what the boys have to say. And now, we drop the mic.
We think he might be Russian mafia.
And he was a member of Warny and Ryan. In Russian prisons, your life story is written on your body. In tattoos. If you don't have tattoos, you don't exist.
I'm afraid we've lost the mother.
Unidentified woman died December the 20th, 2313. Baby girl born 20th of December, 2314.
Anya, where did you get this?
I found it in the handbag of the girl who died in my ward.
I should bury her secrets with her body.
I'm a midwife. I was hoping to speak to the manager.
Yeah, and I'm so sorry if she had worked here. I won't remember. It is sad.
It's all right. I'll probably find out more once I get her diary translated.
A diary?
You want to go for a drink?
It's Christmas. Everything's closed.
Sometimes, if things are closed, you just open them up.
This girl ended up in the hands of the Warny and Ryan. Do you know what that means?
How did you get in here?
There are always open doors.
He wants the diary.
My son Kirill's mentioned many a times.
I think he was threatening to harm the baby.
If the diary should find its way to the police.
Okay, boss. You don't have to worry. Police won't find anything.
She was 14, just a child.
Forget any of this ever happened. Stay away from people like me.
But you read the diary. How can you keep doing what you're doing?
I decide what's right and what's wrong. You can't afford to be careless in any area.
I need to know who you are.
Show some respect.
This is respect.
The Warny were like a contagious disease. There's no cure once they've touched you.
Welcome back to our humble San Diego podcast. We are your hosts, Wesley Swanson, James Warny, and Ryan Jiminez. Together we are Drop the Mic, and this is episode 294, Marked for Life, where we'll be taking a deep dive into director David Cronenberg's 2007 effort, Eastern Promises. But first, let's get everybody warmed up with some of our usual intro segments. What's up, guys? How are you?
Doing good, man.
How's it going?
Welcome back, James.
Yes, good to be back.
It's been a while now.
Yes.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. Happy to be back.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
thank you, man.
And now for a special news report. Brought to you by Drop the Mic.
James.
All right. So it looks like with the news of Henry Cavill's on his Instagram stating that he is officially coming back as Superman, he will also officially be leaving the Netflix's series The Witcher after the third season that is set to come out. I don't believe I have a release date for that yet, but they've already finished shooting it. I think they released a teaser for it about a month or so ago, and it should be coming out, I think, within the next couple of months. If I'm not correct, I'm sorry on that. But he also stated that Liam Hemsworth, Chris Hemsworth's brother, younger brother, will be taking the role as Geralt, who Henry Cavill was playing in the previous 3 seasons. So a lot of speculation is going around saying that his main reason for leaving Netflix is because of that he's going to be a lot more busier with Superman stuff. And then there's another rumor going around that most of the writers for this series were very unhappy and openly mocked the source material for The Witcher that they were pulling from. And Henry Cavill, being the extreme nerd that he is, I guess he found that extremely unsettling. And I think he was unhappy as to where the direction of the show was going to be going, if they were going to be veering off from the original source material.
That makes sense if he was upset because, I know he's a huge video game nerd and he loved those video games. So it didn't make any sense for him to be getting Superman and then just leaving this project. Like, I would assume that DC would let him do it anyway because it has nothing to do with them. But yeah, that makes total sense that he felt like shit that they felt like that when they were doing that.
Yes, I do believe that. I was reading somewhere that I think there was some type of like 7-season plan for the series. I'm not 100% sure if that's factual, but it looks like that this looks like one of the series from Netflix that didn't look like it was slowing down. From what I can tell, it's pretty popular if you're a fan of Henry Cavill or The Witcher. But I think they had like a 7-season plan, and he was up for that. But I guess somewhere along season 2 and finishing season 3, he kind of fell out of love with the showrunners and the writers. So like I said, I guess that's probably more the reason as to why like you said, why he's leaving. But that's it. And Liam Hemsworth has big shoes to fill with taking the role of Geralt.
It's also wild that the showrunners and writers thought that because like that whole trilogy is like super well liked, and that third one is probably people regard that as one of the greatest games of the last 10 years. So it's kind of crazy for them to think like that.
Yeah, the games are based off of a book, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so I think he's a really big fan of the books as well. I know he's a really big like some type of, I want to say it's a World of Warcraft or something like that, like or Dungeons and Dragons, some type of like board game thing. I know he's really into those things as well. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting just to see that happening, and I don't know. Hopefully, it doesn't take away too much from the series, and it continues to be as good as it has been in the previous seasons. But moving on. I don't know if you guys spoke about this. I didn't hear it, but James Gunn and Peter Safran have taken the lead roles as co-CEOs of the DC film and TV division in Warner Brothers. In essence, the Kevin Feige of DC now. Those two.
The other dude is more like kind
more
of
of a producer.
Finances, right? Producer.
Right. Yeah. He's more the business end, and I think James Gunn is going to be more of the creative side.
That's wild, dude. I can't believe going from getting fired from Guardians and then Marvel Disney bringing him back to now being, he basically holds all the power for DC films. It's a good thing though, because everything he's done for DC is fucking gold.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, I think he must have. Warner Brothers must have really treated him nice when he came over, and I guess he was like, hey, I guess he was offered the role, and then he's had some good luck with them, and he's still finishing up the last little bits of I think post for Guardians 3. But once that's done, and he does the because they still have to do like the premieres and stuff. Once that's over, he's officially going to be taking over like 100% of everything over at DC.
Very excited to see what he does.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think Wes might like this one. Aubrey Plaza. I know you're a big fan of her. It looks like she's been cast in the Disney Plus series Agatha, Coven of Chaos. So it's like a spin-off series of WandaVision. She was the main villain Agatha was the main villain in WandaVision. So the role that she's taking on has not been named or no details really, but she's going to be coming to Disney Plus.
Ooh, I didn't hear about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that just dropped today. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen WandaVision?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'm super stoked for that. And all the stuff that I've seen her in, she's hilarious, and I can't wait to see what she does over in that Marvel universe. And then this is pretty interesting news for me. Neil Gaiman released some news today stating that the Sandman series from Netflix is officially getting a second season. That was kind of up in the air after the last month or so after the series dropped. He even stated that just because people like the show doesn't mean it's going to get picked up for a second season. And a lot of people were speculating that that meant he was trying to soften the blow of the for the fans that they weren't going to get a second season, but it looks like its numbers have been doing good, and they're officially doing a second season. He says he can't wait. He can't wait to further the story and get to meet some more of the Endless family that we got to see a couple sneak peeks of during the season. Yahya Abdul-Mateen. He's Black Manta from Aquaman. He's also the Candyman in the new Candyman movie. He is going to be playing Wonder Man in Disney Plus, in a Disney Plus series. So he is all over the place. He's doing Aquaman. I think they just finished doing Aquaman 2, so now he's going straight over to Disney Plus and becoming a superhero.
I don't know how those work, but you would think like they would have something in his contract that wouldn't allow him to do something like that.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I fucking love him. And that character is such a cool Marvel character. So to see them putting time and effort into these characters that you wouldn't really see in anything else and giving them the spotlight on a show on Disney Plus, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'd agree with that too about the contractual thing. Unless that means he dies in Aquaman 2, and that's kind of like a foreshadowing that's kind of ruining the secret. I have no idea. That's just me kind of speculating as well. But yeah, he's a great actor. Can't wait to see what he does with that. And that's my last bit of news.
All right, Ryan, you want to take over?
Yeah. Rebecca Quinn, otherwise known as WWE star Becky Lynch, has been cast as Cyndi Lauper for the third season of Young Rock. And I believe that episode premieres on Friday or next Friday. Yeah, that's pretty rad. She's been out with an injury, so she's getting her acting on. And I believe Cyndi Lauper had a lot to do with WrestleMania 1. So yeah, very cool for her to get something like that.
Have you seen that show?
I watched the first season. I liked it a lot. I mean, I didn't mind it. It was cool to see them bring in characters that you see in the WWE. Yeah. I mean, for it to be on the third season, pretty crazy.
Oh wow, I didn't know it was the third season.
Yeah, and I think they've already jumped to the part because it like time jumps. And I'm pretty sure for The Rock's career, I think they've already jumped to the word when he's made his WWE. Rocky Maivia. So be on the lookout. I think it's coming up. That episode's coming this Friday. I could be wrong now. What else? Shelley Duvall is set to return to screens for The Forest Hills, an indie horror thriller from writer-director Scott Goldberg. It'll mark her first project in 20 years. That's wild and fucking awesome that she's doing something. From what I was reading, I think she's playing the main character's mother.
Oh, okay.
So it seems like it's going to be a decent sized role.
Awesome.
Moving forward, I know Wes has heard about this because we talked about it, but Friday the 13th prequel series is coming from A24 and Brian Fuller. It has been ordered a full season on Peacock. What do you guys think about that? And where do they go for a prequel series?
It's also, I believe, called Crystal Lake is what they're calling it right now.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what they come up with.
I think there's a lot of different ways they could go about it, and it's going to be cool. I feel like it's going to be in the vein of Bates Motel.
Bates Motel?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'd be awesome.
And the fact that A24 is doing it, like we were just saying off air, Ryan, I really do believe it was because of the success of X, that, they're just really good at selling the shit out of period pieces like that. And I can't wait to see how, them to do something like this in a series format, because even though it's very different, Euphoria is really, really good in my opinion, and that's A24. So I feel like they're conquering in all these different mediums. So it's very exciting for them to bring back the Friday the 13th franchise in this fashion. And especially, I was reading today, they updated like where the project is going to be heading, and I guess A24, they have all the rights to everything, so we could very much we could very much be getting Jason back maybe sometime in this show. They have the rights for the hockey mask, everything, so pretty rad.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
For my last bit of news, Sung Kang, mostly known for his role as Han in the Fast and the Furious franchise, is about to make his directorial debut with a low-budget horror comedy, Shaky Shivers. It's a 90s set monster mash that is, I guess, an ode to his favorite 80s movies. It was made during the height of the pandemic, and it's about two ice cream shop workers who get trapped at a summer camp, and a book of magical spells puts them in contact with a number of classic movie creatures. It's premiering soon, like at a I want to say at a fest. But yeah, it sounds cool.
Nice, man. I'm really surprised that you didn't bring up Takeoff.
From everything I've read about that and like the stuff that I've seen, dude, it's just fucking senseless violence, dude. That's taking these young kids, these young rappers, fucking too soon. But yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, I posted a couple things, but Migos is very, very, they're crucial to that rap scene, especially coming out of Atlanta and that style of rap and what they've done even before they took off with fucking Culture and Culture 2 and even the third one. All their early stuff is super good. And if you haven't gone to listen to like early Migos, go back and listen to them and listen to Takeoff stuff on that. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, dude, gone too fucking soon.
28. What a shame.
Yeah, man.
In some other tragic news, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of who Ryan Karazija is. He was the vocals for the band Low Roar and the composer of Death Stranding.
Oh, wow.
He recently passed away as well. And it was pretty shocking. He was only 40. And if you haven't checked out that score, I highly recommend it. I have a 7-inch from the Death Stranding drop that's no longer, I think it's out of print now through Mondo. But yeah, check out that soundtrack and check out the band Low Roar. Very, very great stuff. I feel like they didn't ever get the recognition that they deserved until Death Stranding, and now they're kind of known through that. So R.I.P. to Ryan.
And now it's time for the weekly recommendations.
So I've been getting sucked into, I guess it's reality TV, recently in the last couple of weeks. It's a show on Netflix called Love is Blind. The concept is basically you get a group of like 10 men and women, and they kind of interview each other through a wall, basically, and figure out. It's more about, I guess the show's more about falling in love with someone without seeing them directly. I guess after 10 dates of doing that, they decide if they want to propose to whoever they feel they have more of a connection to. And then the rest of the series is them trying to figure out if love truly is blind, and dealing with the obstacles of finally figuring out what this person looks like and how they are in the real world living together. And then I think they have 2 months or 3 months to figure out if they want to get married at the end. But yeah, that's it. So we've been watching the last couple of weeks.
Was that that's your one and only then?
Yeah, that's it. I haven't really been watching too much.
I can imagine. All right. Ryan?
So I watched the first 3 episodes of the new Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're wild. I don't know if you guys watched any of them, but that second one with the UFOs, they got me fucked up.
I haven't seen the new season.
Yeah, I didn't even know that they had put more episodes up, and I was reading an article about that episode, about the episode 2 of that season, saying that it's kind of weirded people out and kind of like people didn't want to watch it because, you know, what it was about. But yeah, it fucking crazy shit. So yeah, check that out if you haven't. The nostalgia with Unsolved Mysteries is like so fucking good. Like, it reminds me of just fucking staying home sick from school and fucking watching it on Lifetime.
Yes. That show used to creep the shit out of me. Like that guy, the guy who's the host of it. Oh my god,
Robert Stack, right?
Yeah, when he used to talk, and I'm like, oh my god, I'd be all scared, like in my room, like under my covers. So I couldn't turn the TV off, though I had to keep watching.
And then my second rec, I got to see Beetlejuice last weekend in the theaters, and it was like, honestly, it was like watching it for the first time. I was fucking laughing my ass off the entire time. It was good seeing it in like a packed house. The theater was like 90% full on like a Sunday afternoon at like 12:30. Yeah, if you ever get the chance to see that on the big screen, go and see it because it's awesome. And fucking, I'm gonna keep on saying this until fucking I can't anymore. But I think Keaton should have been nominated for an Oscar for that. That's just my fucking opinion. And also, he probably had 2 of the best years in acting ever, and like with such huge roles that like did a number on pop culture with Beetlejuice and fucking the next year Batman. Like, how do you do that? How do you go from that role to that? Like, insane. Underrated.
And then he was also Jack Frost.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
Too soon?
Wes, why you gotta bring up old shit? Too soon.
Oh man. Are you a fan of White Noise? Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, that was a good one.
EVP, man. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. And then my last 2 recs are kind of different. I've been obsessed. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It is a mobile game called Marvel Snap. It just came out like maybe a couple weeks ago. It's basically like a card game. You play against somebody, and you have like a deck of cards, and they're different heroes and villains with different powers. And it's like 3-minute game, so it goes by super quick. And you basically like draw a card, and whoever at the end has like the highest power wins the game. It's totally free. Like, you can buy stuff in it, but I haven't, and I've like stacked up a whole bunch of wins since I've been playing it. So if like Marvel is your type of thing, and you want something quick to pick up and easy to play, Marvel Snap is fucking awesome.
And it's an app.
Yeah, it's a game. Marvel Snap. Yeah, it's cool. It's just, and it's, what I like about it is it's not like a your regular like turn-based card game where like it kind of takes a long time. Like, it's like super quick 2-3 minute matches, and then you're done. Like, you can kill like 5-10 minutes of time. It's a good waste of time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then my last Rick came out last week. I've been playing it nonstop. Modern Warfare 2. Multiplayer. I was talking to Wes off air about it. Multiplayer is fucking great. It like kind of turned back the time and turned back the clock to like those Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 days where you can't be fucking slide canceling and fucking quick scoping people from 1,000 feet away. Like, it actually involves a little bit of skill, not just a keyboard and fucking mouse and super high sensitive ADS and shit. But yeah, dude, I haven't played a campaign. I heard the campaign is good too, but yeah, Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer is worth it. And Modern Warfare is like the only game that gets me to go out at midnight to get it. I went at 9 o'clock to my GameStop and stood in line with 50 other dudes.
Yeah, I was there. I mean, I was there too. Yeah, when it dropped.
I wanted one of the bucket hats they had, but I didn't win the drawing. I got a poster though. It's fucking awesome. It's huge ass Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, that poster's gigantic. It's like half of the wall.
Yeah. That's all I got for Rex this week, though.
I have one this week. It's just came to digital. I finally got to see Don't Worry, Darling.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And let me tell you, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Despite all the negative controversy that's surrounding that production, it's a pretty goddamn well-made movie, and it feels very much like a very Twilight Zone-y, almost like on a par with Jordan Peele production. To be honest, masterfully shot. The direction is great. Florence Pugh, as always, is fucking amazing. She makes the film. As we all knew, even before, I know you guys haven't seen it, but you probably could have predicted that. Such a great film. I have my issues with Harry Styles outside of this, but his performance didn't bother me. I thought he was pretty okay. And I wasn't aware that Olivia Wilde actually had a role in the movie as well. I know she directed it, kinda. But
kinda.
Yeah, but she has a pretty substantial role and is fine. But it's a good movie, and I definitely wanted to give it a shout out. Check it out. It's I think you can only rent it right now. Supposedly, I thought that it was supposed to be coming to HBO Max soon. It's still playing in theaters. So yeah, check that out if you are interested. Definitely worth a watch.
Is it? You said it's available to rent though.
Yeah, it's you can get it on demand through Amazon, through Apple.
Sweet.
Yeah, as of now.
I'll definitely check it out. I'll check it out just for Florence.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
Our main focus this week is Eastern Promises. I wanted to talk about this film because I felt like it's a great transition from our spooky season into winter, I suppose. But so it's rated R. It's from 2007. It runs at 1 hour and 40 minutes, and it's got a well-deserved 89 on Rotten. Directed by David Cronenberg, The Master. Written by Stephen Knight. Starring Naomi Watts, Viggo Mortensen, Vincent Cassel, and Armand Mueller-Stahl. Using London as a backdrop, the film tells the story of a midwife, Anna, who crosses paths with the Russian mob after rescuing a newborn baby. Cronenberg's follow-up to A History of Violence was his first film to be shot completely outside of Canada, and principal photography started in November of 2006 and took place in various places in London. The film was released nationwide on September 21st and gained great reviews and word of mouth, despite the film only grossing $56.1 million against its $50 million budget, making the ranks of many critics' top 10 films of 2007, Eastern Promises has become a sought-after cult classic like many of Cronenberg's filmography. The film is both vicious and profound in equal measure, managing to blend high-caliber gangster drama with body horror elements the way only Cronenberg can pull off. Outstanding cinematography and practical effects mixed with the haunting Howard Shore score makes for one compelling cinematic experience that demands several rewatches. I give this 4 out of 5 bathhouses. Thank you.
Nice.
Bravo.
So,
gentlemen, have either of you seen this film before? First off,
I haven't. No.
Yeah, I'd seen that before.
What are your thoughts on this? We'll start with James, since he's the Virgin watcher. What were your thoughts coming out of the gate?
The whole twist at I guess towards the end, actually surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. I almost guessed it right when I was kind of 10 minutes into the movie, what was going to happen. But that whole, I don't know if we want to get into everything right now, but the whole undercover thing really got me. But yeah, it was an entertaining movie. I actually liked it. It from the first 5 minutes, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a slow movie," but then getting into it really it didn't feel slow, if that makes sense. It really it played well. It didn't feel like it was dragging at any time. I really enjoyed it. It's cool to get to see like the way that Russian like mobster family, how they like kind of run their business. And it had the main the son, I can't remember his name, Vigo's character's who he was working for, the younger guy. He reminded me a lot of the like the asshole kid from John Wick, the first one. The son.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's just kind of like a spoiled like mobster brat who kind of grew up with people like letting him do whatever he wants. But I really thought he was going to get killed like halfway through the movie. I kept on waiting for it, but it never happened. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. This was cool. I don't see too many movies with Vigo in it. Whenever I see him, I always think of, oh, that's Strider from fucking Lord of the Rings. But like, regardless of whatever the movie is, I'm always constantly thinking, like, oh yeah, like I wonder if this was before or after Lord of the Rings, or if it was in between or whatever, you know. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie though for the first watch. I would definitely watch it again or recommend it for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Ryan,
you don't if you told someone to watch this movie and you told them, hey, just watch this movie, didn't tell me anything about it, didn't tell them who it was by, you wouldn't know it was Cronenberg until all the gore shit happens.
Yes.
And like you said, Wes, all that the body horror. But yeah, no, Viggo Mortensen fucking kills it. It's a shame that he was nominated for an Oscar for Best Actor for this in that year, because I don't know if you looked at that year, but that year was fucking stacked. Fucking Daniel Day-Lewis won for There Will Be Blood, so he was not gonna beat him. But yeah, man, I like this, and I like the history of violence just because it was, other than the gore and the violence, you wouldn't know it was Cronenberg. At least I that's why I liked it so much. And yeah, the couple of twists towards the end that you find out are kind of, you're not expecting it from a movie like that. And how great is fucking how great is what's her name, Naomi Watts in it? She's fucking awesome in it as well.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, this is fucking a solid movie, and there's a reason why Cronenberg is fucking one of the GOATs. What about you, Wes? Why did you want to shine a focus onto this masterful film?
Honestly, I love Viggo's work, and I feel like he doesn't work very often, but when he does, it's so impactful. And and speaking on this movie alone, you could see the intense research that this guy did, who is a Danish American, right? And he is so fucking good, like so authentic, that when that twist comes that he is actually an undercover cop, your mind is blown because of how steeped in like this Russian mob, the Vor, I think is what they call him. You don't question his authenticity whatsoever. His accent, his head movements, the way his demeanor, he's fucking scary throughout this, where he is a loose cannon, and you get to see what he is capable of when we're forced to watch this kind of one take action sequence that happens with him completely nude, which is incredible because you're seeing this very badass character in his most vulnerable state, and he still refuses to go down. He's set up, obviously he's set up by the family to be taken out, and he refuses to go down. And that's just so, like this entire movie, that bathhouse scene to me is the kind of centerpiece of everything in a lot of ways. And it, of course, because it's Cronenberg, it totally focuses in on the body horror. I don't know if you guys noticed, but throughout this entire movie, there is only melee weapons used. There are absolutely no guns whatsoever. Insane.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And you know why? It's because I feel like using knives and weapons of that kind is so much more intimate, so much more I feel like it's so, I don't know, on another level. And we even, going back to what James said, when this film opens up and you're in the, you end up in a barber shop, and it just feels very Scorsese, and you don't, you don't expect things to take the dark turn that they do. And someone is killed minutes into the film. And I'm pretty sure that's why James said, I thought that this was going to be like a slower burn, and it's really, really not. It's only about an hour and 40 minutes. The pacing is incredible. You're completely immersed into this underbelly world that you really don't get to see in a lot of films. And it does a very good job of feeling authentic. Throughout the movie, I feel like they do a good job at presenting to us the mythos of the Russian mob, and how these gangsters are they use their bodies and their tattoos as their identity in a lot of ways. And that's how it goes back to the research that Vigo and Cronenberg did, where these tattoos are done in prison, and if you don't have tattoos in like a Russian prison, nobody trusts you because they can't read where you come from, or what things you've done, what kind of thief that you are, things of that nature. So the extent they went to be authentic in that way, and these little nuances, is just super incredible to me, and it's fascinating. And I feel like it warrants, so you could watch this movie over and over again and find, it's one of those films that you just find different things that you didn't notice beforehand, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, Wes, did he go into a lot of, I know you said he like kind of dug deep into the culture of like the mafia, Russian mafia. Did they go into how did they get that information? Like, were the tattoos and stuff accurate, as to like Russian, or being attached to like Russian mobsters, or being in the mafia like that?
Yeah, so Vigo actually traveled over to a couple different parts of Russia, I believe, and talked to legitimate gangsters who basically described the kind of tattoos and where they would be put on the body. And so everything was meticulously planned out to be authentic as possible and respectful to that culture. And it's funny because a lot of these tattoos, on the surface, they seem like they have a religious meaning, but they don't. It's insane, the amount of detail that went into this. But yeah, to answer your question, he 100% talked to real people involved in the underworld of this, and they gave him as much as they could without getting too deep, I guess, into it, without incriminating themselves.
Yeah. That's got to be scary on its own, just talking to those kind of people, and not trying to piss anybody off.
Yeah, I think I had read that on one of the blocks that they were actually shooting, like a former KGB agent was actually poisoned during production, which was completely unrelated to them shooting the film, but they happened to be there while that happened in the neighborhood. So that's fucking crazy.
Oh, shit.
Damn. Just witnessed a hit.
Yeah, right. It's just, there was, I don't know.
That's insane.
Yeah. This movie speaks on a number of different things, human trafficking being one, which is, of course, it's not just a problem in in the UK, but all over the world. And something I found out while doing research is trafficking heroin or drugs. It's much more dangerous if you were to get caught with your sentencing, but human trafficking, like a lesser sentence would be 6 months to a year with probation.
What?
And that's it.
Holy shit.
And so,
Wow.
and so that's why people get into human trafficking, because they view it as safer than trafficking narcotics. That's why.
That's wild.
It's sad. It's very sad. And it's because, like, you can play that a number of different ways, where if you're trafficking women, you can say, well, they came on their, you know, like they came because they wanted to. And there's all of these loopholes with it that are total bullshit. But it just, again, it tells you how the governments continue to fail us. And I'm not just speaking like in America, but all over. It's terrible.
Right. The whole story, you kind of get the main story and then the backstory throughout the film with the girl the prostitute, or the girl who was being trafficked as a sex worker, who had the baby and tragically died. But as she's reading her diary throughout the movie, that was heartbreaking just to hear all that crap. Just how she kind of left Russia to get away from that and start a new life, and she ends up, falling into this world.
Yeah,
and inevitably, being forced to take heroin and gets pregnant.
And then we find out that we think that the father is going to be Vincent Cassel's character, Kirill. The reason why pretty much the character that the whole movie's based around is this kind of fuck up guy, the son of this big kind of mob boss who is grown up and thinks that he can get away with pretty much anything because of who he is. He has skin in the game, so to speak, right? And
Right.
We find out slowly through the journals of this young woman. I think her name is Tatiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. She is only 14. So then you're getting into the, like, okay, now not only are you're trafficking, but you're child trafficking. You're like a child predator. And so we think it's Kirill, and then we find out one of the bigger twists is that it was his father, Semyon, who ends up, and we don't ever see this visual, but it's told to us through the journal entries that Kirill was trying to rape this young girl and couldn't, so the father did it for him, thus getting her pregnant. But it's actually the father, Semyon's kid. So when the midwife Anna, who's played by Naomi Watts, comes with this journal because she's rescued this baby, and of course the young girl had passed away from I'm not sure what it was, like probably trauma or something, and she ends up coming to Semyon, the father, trying to decipher these journals. And so the entire time the dad is playing dumb, but he actually knows where it's leading to. And so you're very, as you're watching the film, you grow increasingly scared of the safety of Naomi Watts, Anna's character, because she's an innocent kind of midwife nurse who's just trying to look out for the best interests of this kind of orphaned baby girl, and then she's unwittingly kind of thrown into this underworld of incredible, like, very bad people. And she actually does pretty well for herself. She's very, very kind of badass in not cowering or really stepping down from them. But it creates this great kind of intense story narrative throughout the film that really gets you're just frightened for her the entire time, because at any time her family or all witnesses or Anna could be taken out, in a second if they wanted to. But then there's the kind of code that these gangsters go through where they're not supposed to hurt children. They're not supposed to hurt women. You know what I mean? There's these things that they're not supposed to do. And then you kind of see the holes through the family's ideology where they kind of bend the rules when they want to, or they cover up things when it benefits them. And so I liked... Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say I really liked when Nikolai Vigo's character is put in the middle of everything as he's just a driver, but he's also trying to get his foot in the door as a real member, where he's trying to get like his stars, so to speak. And at the same time, he there's this kind of unspoken romance that's happening with him and Naomi Watts' character throughout, where they don't really ever share any real time together, but they still are into each other, and with the way that they look at each other and stuff. So it's kind of this unorthodox love story that's pretty great too. But I loved Vigo's part in this because he's the middleman that's trying to keep her safe, but then has to put on this persona for the family. And there's just that great scene in the middle of the movie where what's his name, Kirill and Nikolai are kind of partying together, and they have all of these like prostitutes around, and Kirill kind of freaks out on him, and he's all, if I'm going to make you a made man, then you have to like sleep with one of these girls in front of me so I know that you're not gay, which is super unsettling to watch.
Yeah. That was so weird.
And it goes on for a really long time, and you don't think that they're actually going to show you like the intercourse, but then they actually do. And then when you figure out that Nikolai Vigo's character is like not even really one of them, and he's like just deep undercover, you feel so bad because he's almost like starting to lose his way, where he's been in this life. You could tell he's been in this life so long that he's almost going rogue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah. So going back to what were you going to say, James?
So when Naomi, when she goes to the father and kind of trying to figure out who this girl is and where she's from, and if she has any type of connections to him or to the restaurant, I found myself that whole interaction, like not yelling, but like talking to the TV, like, what are you doing? Stop talking to him. He's a bad guy. Don't tell him you have a diary. What are you doing? Like that whole scene right there was just, like you said, she was digging herself into this hole with them and kind of, getting herself in trouble with them and not knowing the whole time, or not knowing who these people were or who he was, essentially. But yeah,
I don't think that
I just wanted to bring.
I don't think you bring up a good point. I don't think that she realized the trouble that she was in. But he kind of tips her off where he says, "Oh, you work at this and this hospital, right? All the time, right?" And she goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, that's good." And
it's like, oh.
And that's,
okay.
That was a legitimate threat. Like, okay, well, yeah. I know where you are, all of the time. And they kind of play with that throughout the story, where they end up even, things get crazy for the family, where Nikolai Vigo's character, when we find out that he's undercover, he says, yo, like, these guys, like, the father, Semyong, raped a 14-year-old girl. That's statutory rape. You can get him. You can put him away. Go and collect his blood, and so we can match it and prove that he is the father of the rightful father of the baby. So then the cops end up going and they tip him off, and they get his blood, and he gets really pissed off, and he ends up sending his son Kirill to abduct the baby from the hospital, which he does, and he intends to drown her. And so Naomi, Anna's character, and Vigo Nikolai end up finding him before Kirill doesn't have the heart to do it, because of course it's just a newborn baby, and Kirill realizes, I feel like internally, that they're going too far at that point. And so they're able to rescue the baby from an incredibly fucked up demise.
Yeah, you even hear Kirill saying, like, I feel like he was talking to his dad, but not really, just saying, like, she's just a baby, she's just a kid, she doesn't know. And then the whole time I was like, oh my god, I don't want to see a baby get murdered. Please please tell me this is not going to happen on TV and right in front of me. But luckily it didn't, because I could not take that, seeing a horrific thing like that.
You never know, because it is Cronenberg.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was. Oh man, I was kind of on the edge of my seat during that scene. I was yelling for Vigo to hurry up, get his crippled ass off the bike.
So let's talk about the bathhouse, man. Did you guys like that? Did you like that scene?
I think, dude, honestly, like, I'm glad you picked this movie, because I forgot how good it was, and I forgot how good that fucking bathhouse scene was. And, like, to be honest, that fucking bathhouse scene is probably up there with scenes of just, like, I mean, when did this come out? 2007?
When I graduated, 2007.
Look at you, little baby.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, that scene is just fucking iconic, and it's crazy that you don't hear a lot of people talk about that scene. And this movie in general, but at least I don't. That scene is like, the way it's shot, and the way with that fucking weird fucking knife that they're using, is just so fucking raw and real. And I don't know about you guys, but the first guy he kills before he goes back and kills the second guy, where he kind of gets him in the back of the head, like, and you just hear him fucking grunting and trying to, like, push him down more.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking hard to watch. And I watched fucking Terrifier like 4 weeks ago. But it's just because of the setting and just how real it fucking feels.
Yeah.
No, I fucking love that scene. So
it's funny because the reason why that scene happens is because Kirill, Semen's brother, kind of goes behind his back and orders a hit on a fellow Russian without, basically it wasn't cleared. It was off the books, and they were trying to hide it from everyone. And the dad ends up figuring it out, and then they, the guy that they killed has three brothers, supposedly. And there's this kind of interaction with Nikolai and Semyon, where he's like, if you're so, you know everything, right? Then you would know that this guy has three brothers and they're going to come after us now. So basically telling Vigo's character, Nikolai, that has to protect Kirill because, the heat's coming down on them, and it does, they end up killing, what is it, the other son? They cut his throat after a Chelsea game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Semyon is trying to clean up his, the mess. So they end up bringing Nikolai Vigo's character. They ink him in with his stars, but then they end up setting him up at the bathhouse, saying that it was him that killed this guy and not Kirill, the brother who actually was behind everything. So that way they would take out their revenge and then leave the family alone. But because it's Vigo, he just slaughters these guys. And I like that Ryan brought up these kind of very unique weapons, which are called linoleum knives, I think is what I read. And the reason why I think they're Chechens, they use these kind of style weapons is that if they're on the street and they are stopped by law enforcement, they can just say that it's a tool because it's a legitimate tool. So they can't really prove that they're meaning to do bodily harm, I guess was the idea behind why they're using these kind of specific knives.
That's pretty smart.
But yeah, going back to the bathhouse, it's insane. The way, just the camera work, and I know that Swan fact, the bathhouse is just a set that was built on a soundstage, but they modeled it after a specific bathhouse in London because they liked the texture so much. So they pretty much copied it and changed a few walls and the layout of it. So it's basically a structured bathhouse that was built intentionally to pull off this fight alone, which is insane. But it looks so great, and I agree with Ryan that it's not nearly talked about enough the way that it should be. It's visceral, the way that the effects, it feels like it's really happening when the cut's happening. Yeah. Everything, it's super unnerving. And when that guy comes back alive, when you think he's dead, and he just grabs Nikolai by the throat.
Oh God! Yeah.
Oh man. I also really like that scene where when they're kind of gonna ink him in, Nikolai Vigo's character kind of gets on his. He's almost being interviewed by all of these big heads in that kind of underground world, and he's just standing in front of them, almost like pretty unclothed, and what they're doing is they're checking out his ink, and it's just fascinating how that's actually something that happens, where your identity is on your body. It's very Memento.
Yeah. That scene specifically was crazy, how they were just tearing into his family, and he was just like, yeah, my mom was a whore. Like, my dad was a piece of shit, and he was weak. And I'm like, oh man, that.
I feel like
I assume he just had to go along with it just because of everything, saying, that he has no family. He, this family is his new family and everything like that. He has no ties to the world before. But yeah, I was like, damn, I don't think I would be able to restrain myself from responding in the way he did.
That's exactly what they were doing. It was a test to see his limits, how far he can be pushed if he was really wanting in, and then that's what you have to. Of course, he was smart enough to know, even if he didn't agree, you have to go along with it, or
right,
or it's the curtains for you. Or, dude, my favorite line in this movie is when they first see, and it's completely out of context, they first see Naomi Watts' Anna character, and she's like parking her little motorbike outside of their flat, and Kirill, Vincent Cassel's character, is like, who the fuck is that, or whatever, and then Nikolai Vigo is like, oh, maybe they hired a whore for your father or something, and then Kirill looks at him and he goes, you are so unbelievably disrespectful, it's fucking unbelievable.
Going back to what you were talking about, how you think he was almost at the point to where he was gonna like kind of just go off the rails and kind of go rogue.
Yes.
I like like that scene, like watching the movie the first time, and then like kind of that twist at the end when you find out that he's working for, you know, the feds, the cops, and then thinking back about that scene, you kind of, to me it kind of felt like he had already gone over that ledge. I mean, if you're killing people and cutting off their fingers and taking their teeth out of their mouth, I feel like you've already gone that route.
Yes,
at least that's how I kind of. Yeah,
but the thing with the when he's finishes with the woman, he pays her, and I feel like there's his moral compass kind of shows where he pays her, he doesn't have to, and there's like this kind of exchange of words where he's almost apologizing for, like, he didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, it's like, if you do anything that's suspicious, you're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's sink or swim in that environment where he's doing what he has to do to survive. And when that cop, the Fed comes and they're talking on the rooftop, that's why he's like, yeah, we're going to pull you out because you, like, all of this stuff that you've been linked to is unacceptable. Like, we're terminating your case. Like, you're out. And he goes, yo, if you do this, then you need to tell them that they're wasting these stars that I already have. Like, I'm already in. So, you go tell them all of this shit. So, and he's planning on, that's why he sets up the dad, Sem-Young, because he's like, yo, we're going to take over this shit. And then, so in the end, we're meant to believe that he's going to step up and become Carell's, like, right-hand man. Of course, Carell not knowing that he's an undercover, and then they're going to just implode everything from the inside because he's, of course, working against them. And speaking of, there was supposed to be a sequel come out in 2013 called Eastern Promises 2, and I guess somebody at Focus Features shut down the project, and it never came to be. But honestly, I kind of like that it's left kind of open-ended, and that Anna and Nikolai never really develop anything. It's almost like they know it's too dangerous that it's a forbidden love where they want to be together, but it's not safe. You know, and a way that they're able to depict this in a really cool way is that Anna's uncle, I think, that she lives with, is supposedly a former KGB, or he worked for the KGB, and he makes the mistake of, because he was helping her decipher the journals too, and so he's a witness and he knows everything that this family has done. He kind of, how do you say, not attacks, but lets the driver, Nikolai Vigo's character, know that he's onto him, and he calls him like the devil, and he spits in his face, and then he ends up disappearing. So then Anna's character, Naomi Watts, threatens him, and she's like, you know, my uncle's disappeared, and I know you guys had something to do with it. I'm gonna go to the cops if you don't tell me where he is or that he's okay. And so Nikolai ends up telling her, like, I was given the order to take him out because he knows too much, but instead I sent him back to, you know, like his hometown, and he's completely safe, and he understands, like, the rules, and that it's either exile or death. And so right there, it tells you that as vicious and creepy and scary as you think Nikolai is when you first start the movie, he really does have some semblance of a heart, and he knows right from wrong, you know, in certain aspects, and he does whatever he can to kind of protect Anna's family. So, yeah, I feel like I'm hogging the mic, guys. Are you guys okay? You good? Alive out there?
Oh yeah, we're good. Yeah.
I just want to hear your sweet velvety voice.
Also, another outstanding thing about this is how all of these main players in the movie are from different backgrounds. Nobody's really Russian. Vincent Cassel is French. Vigo is Danish. Naomi is British. What's his name? Armand Stahl is German. And then they're all coming together, and like their accents and their demeanor, it all just comes together so well. So well.
Little side note, we got to give fucking Naomi Watts some praise for working with two of the wackiest fucking directors of all time, with fucking Cronenberg and David Lynch.
Oh, that's right. That's right. What an indie darling. And shout out to her. One of the big reasons I picked this film too is because I've been watching or checking out the Netflix's The Watcher, the new miniseries. And of course she's in it, one of the main characters, and she's so good. Although, you know, she's always good, but she's very relevant right now. That's a new Ryan Murphy project. The guy's been cranking out a lot of stuff lately, but yeah, The Watcher is so good, and if you haven't checked it out on Netflix, can't recommend it enough. Super unnerving, creepy stuff there. Check it out. And please don't ruin it for me, because I haven't finished it, Ryan. I know you know the story.
Fucking
that's supposed to be based on a true story, right?
Yes.
That's crazy.
No, I'm not going to ruin it for you. Fucking Superman comes at the end credits, though. You guys have a favorite Cronenberg movie?
Oh. Honestly, I think it would either be it's a toss-up between The Fly, because Jeff Goldblum, that's right, is just him being in that film, and then what happens to him and his transformation, and then Gina Davis is awesome. That's a great one, super classic. It would be either that or modern, A History of Violence, no doubt.
I've still never seen that one. I heard it's really good.
You've never seen A History of Violence?
No, I've never seen it.
James?
Yeah, check it out.
Based on a graphic novel, it's fucking insane. Stacked cast, and like if you liked Eastern Promises, you're gonna love that, because Cronenberg and Mortensen together are they're just a masterclass in acting, and they just had released a new film together, Crimes of the Future, which kind of takes it back to the sci-fi body horror stuff, like Existence ish for Cronenberg. But if you haven't seen that either, check it out. It's a Vigo, salt and pepper Vigo. What about you guys? Favorite Cronenberg?
I'd go either. Oh, man, History of Violence is fucking good, but there's something about The Fly, dude. Just seeing that at a young age and just fucking being grossed the fuck out.
Yeah,
I got a soft spot for fucking Scanners as well.
The Brood is pretty nuts.
That's a good one. Yeah, dude, History of Violence. That fucking, as the kids say, that fucks big time. Did you guys ever see? Didn't he do? I never saw it, and I should have, because didn't he do the one with Robert Pattinson?
Oh, Cosmopolis.
Yes.
Cosmopolis. How the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty art house, dude. It's that is a slow burn. That is definitely a niche film for sure.
I heard Crimes of the Future is wild.
It is much like kind of like Terrifier 2. A lot of people leaving the fucking theaters and whatnot.
Oh, you saw it?
Oh, really?
No, I watched it at home recently, but no, I didn't go see it in the theaters. But I've heard, seen articles, and I think Chris was telling me that a lot of people were walking out on that one.
I don't know. After seeing Terrifier 2, I think I'm pretty much desensitized now from anything.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely on the year-end show. We're gonna have to talk about Terrifier 2 with Chris, or why he refuses to watch it. Brand new cherry flavored, guys. Check it out. Shout out to Chris for being very picky and choosy over there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right, gentlemen. Any other thoughts on Eastern Promises?
Watch it.
Yes, definitely check it out if you haven't.
I know it's not that I was able to find. It's not streaming anywhere, strangely, but you could pick up the Blu-ray for about $10 online. Check it out, rent it digitally. You know, drop a couple bucks. It's definitely worth it if you like gangster films in the vein of Scorsese. It's very Scorsese-esque. Check it out. Eastern Promises. What should we review next week, fellas? Any ideas?
Maybe James has been absent a couple weeks. Maybe he can pick something.
All right. Yeah, I'll go ahead and pick one. Since we are in November, and I think it fits this month pretty well. There's a movie that came out about a year ago. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks interesting. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called Black Friday.
Oh, with Bruce Campbell?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that one, but it's been on my list to check out.
They just dropped it on Stars yesterday.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it either.
So it'll be a fresh watch for all three of us, I guess. Looks very funny. I think it fits the season that we're in right now pretty well. Yeah, I saw the cast, and that's all I needed to see about the movie. Hopefully, it's as good as the I think the cast is. But yeah, Black Friday, 2021 film, came out last year.
Very nice. While we're talking about Stars, shout out to Stars and their new kind of layout. It's fucking clean as hell.
They just did an update, right?
Yeah, they updated all like their logo and their like the kind of their app, and it's just so much better. I'm just like every time I turn it on, I kind of get boner a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Getting the chub.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been paying for that for a while, and I think I've opened that app once.
Wow.
Well, Ryan, you know, we all can't. We're not all haters on here. So everybody hates on that app, man. I remember my sister's boyfriend. I gave him the login, so you'd think they would be like stoked, and they're just like, yo, why do you have Stars though?
Like, do you have any other app?
They're like, why do you pay for Stars though?
Oh man!
Like they were just so they were so off put by that I have Stars, and I've had it since Ash vs. Evil Dead. I got it because of Ash vs. Evil Dead, and then of course they fucking canceled it because not enough people were watching, and it's totally bullshit. But I just kept it because it's not overly expensive, and they put some cool shit on there.
This segment of Drop the Mic was brought to you by Stars.
So next week, Black Friday, courtesy of our own James Warny. Also, I wanted to say thanks for coming back, man.
Yeah, next week I'll be in person. I know I was planning to do it this week, but some stuff came up, and I got everything situated, so looks like we're good to go.
Awesome. As far as I know, if everything works out, Ryan will be coming down to do an in-house show next week as well, which is very exciting because we're going to have a full house in person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a shout out for you, Wes. I complimented you via text, but I just want to let everybody know here how damn hard this guy works on editing every single episode, because I I picked up on everything that he was doing, and the cuts are clean. There's no like downtime in any of the episodes that I've been missing. Super fantastic job, dude. You are, like I said, you're a master in the editing bay.
Thank you, man. I when I think about like when I'm sitting there, I just try to be as meticulous as I can and with what I think people want to hear and what'll bring people back to listen more often. So I try to make it as precise as I can, as long as that takes. But it's all worth it, and I'm very, very proud. Very proud of the how do you say, the evolution of this show, you know, as opposed to where we started versus now.
Right.
We've done so much and continue to grow as a show, and I'm excited to see, you know, where we go in the future. Check out Eastern Promises and, of course, all of David Cronenberg's work. And until next week, this is James Warny, Ryan Jiminez, Wesley Swanson, signing off, saying good fight and good night.
Have you ever met a girl called Tatiana?
I meet a lot of girls called Tatiana.
She was pregnant.
Ah, in that case, no, I never heard of her.
She died on my shift.
I thought you did birth.
Sometimes birth and death go together. She came in with needle punches all over both arms. Probably a prostitute at the age of 14. Do you think Semyon's son knew her?
I'm driver. I go left, I go right, I go straight ahead, that's it.